Gothic cathedrals are celebrations of the spirit. They are structures of overwhelming strength, designed to teach and inspire through the beauty of their architecture and remarkable technical virtuosity. The concept was a radical departure from early Roman churches, which were small castle-like structures with small windows and massive walls. Instead, a Gothic cathedral began with an ambitious floor plan called a cruciform, resembling the shape of the Christian cross. Because great height would eventually rise from this design, construction efforts began with a solid foundation. Layers of stone blocks set 25 feet into the earth to support the building's great weight. Each block needed to be perfectly level and aligned, or the entire structure could collapse, as was the case in Beauvais, France, where the pieces of a 1284 AD cathedral which fell during construction are a haunting reminder of imperfect masonry. Today, only a section of the building remains, too heavy and cumbersome to be disassembled and rebuilt as intended. It might appear that grand granite pillars are providing a cathedral's structural support, but actually it is the walls which hold the building up. In earlier times, this would necessitate very thick and solid sides, but the Gothic aesthetic demands an innovation never before possible in giant structures, enormous expanses of glass embedded in the walls to shower the inside with a holy light. Cutting away sections of the stone walls, however, reduced the overall stability of the building. The solution was an ingenious 12th century notion to support or buttress the construction. Traditionally, a building's roof is supported by its walls. In early structures, entrances into a building evolved into arches and load-bearing columns. But as wooden roofs were replaced by fireproof stone ceilings called vaults, walls became thicker to support the increased weight and resist the outward thrust. In a refinement of the principle, the downward weight of the ceiling was directed to specific points over the columns, which were thickened for the additional load. The result was a building which resembled a ribbed skeleton, and it allowed the walls to be opened even farther for larger windows. But as cathedrals grew larger and taller, the structure's weight inside and the force of the wind outside increased. To counteract these two unstable forces without thickening the walls and reducing the size of the windows, additional support was placed outside the interior space. The result was a row of buttresses connected to the walls by stone arms called flying buttresses. Here, the downward thrust of the ceiling pushes against the wall, then travels across the expanse of the flying buttresses and is channeled through the outside buttress columns to the foundation below. Most buttresses are topped by an ornate pinnacle. These festive stone designs are not simply to enhance the beauty of the structure. It is their weight which helps the buttresses perform their task. A vault is the architectural name for the unique ceiling construction of a Gothic cathedral and part of the genius behind its design. First, temporary wooden centerings are mounted on scaffolding. Then cut stones are laid in place from the bottom up and mortared together, though it is their own downward weight which keep them firmly set together. Finally, a keystone completes the assembly, so when the temporary centering are removed, only the stone frame of the ceiling remains. The expanse of the vaulting within the frame begins with a webbing of very lightweight stone mortared together with a layer of wood planking underneath. Once the mortar is set, a 4-inch layer of concrete is poured over the entire area to stabilize the structure.